It is Monday, July the 13th, and I just had to clear phlegm out of my throat. Hope you enjoyed that, huh? Oh, episode 20. Yeah, complaints and observations.
The greatest podcast hosted by someone who knows so precious little about almost everything. A journey into the mediocre mind of an exceptionally average person. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
Thank you as always, Ken. Appreciate it. Hello. It has been a long time. No, not really. It hasn't. What's up? Complainers? Yeah, I don't like that. I stole that from Mark Maron. If you've listened to Mark Maron in the What the Fuck podcast, he's much more clever and talented and wealthy than I am. Seems like a decent guy. I stole that bit from him. I won't do that again. Anyways, so episode 20. Nice round number. A handful of things to talk about today. I got a couple of voicemails, got a couple of emails. Love it. I ultimately, my thinking with the program was that it was going to be a vehicle for learning and sharing and a real generalist feel. So I think, here I am 20 episodes into this fucking thing, and I still have no clue what the hell I'm doing or the point. But it's fun. I enjoy it. I would like it to be more fun and have more people listen, ideally. Not happening, but we'll get there slowly but surely. The goal is to hit triple digits on an episode. And thus far I haven't. I think the most is like 45 on my third episode, which is odd. But what can you do? Hope everyone had an excellent weekend. I had a great weekend. Friday began the arduous task of packing the house, getting ready to move. We have not started so much down here in the broadcast palace. That'll take place this week. I think I'm going to spend some time getting that done. I'm unemployed, so I don't, I have zero other commitments other than packing the house. My wife has gone away for the week. She's on a work trip, which means that I am all alone, just me and Ken the cat. So I should be able to get, the entire lower level, the entire basement done, organized, squared away. That should be done. That's my goal for the week. Have stuff to do tomorrow. We have movers coming in to take a look at how much shit we have and what it's going to cost. And then home inspection for the new place in the afternoon. So, that should be, take up tomorrow, and then Wednesday start cranking, see what happens. So, did that. Saturday was when we started packing. I don't know why I said Friday. What did I do Friday? Nothing. Good win for the Hammers this weekend. Thank you. Everybody else in the bottom 6 won too, so that kind of fucking sucks. But what can you do? We got the points. We're okay. We're safe. Big match this week against Watford. We need to win again. We got 3 games left. We need to win 2. Watford and then Man United, and we wrap up the season with Villa, which could be to stay up, which would really fucking suck. We're not going to get anything out of the United match, but if we do, it's a bonus. It'd be great. Went out to dinner Saturday and good time, good dinner. Had too much to drink, and apparently came down to record a segment, which I'm going to share with you guys shortly. I thought it was kind of funny, even though in the segment I say that when I go back and listen to it, I would think it was stupid. You had some, had some moments, but we'll get to that. Yeah, I don't want to. I was gonna talk about. I was gonna mention something. I'm not gonna. I'm a better person than that, so I'm not gonna do it. But this whole moving thing and the buying of the house thing, like realtors are very petty people, and I don't get it. You're in sales. You shouldn't be so petty. Immature. And look, I'm a horribly petty and immature person. I know what petty and immature looks like. But I would never do that with my customers. So many things that just could be answered with one fucking meeting, one phone call. Nope. Nope. All sorts of stupid back and forth, and it drives me bonkers. Fucking bonkers. I have control issues. And so not having any control over this process is painful. Painful. But I can't do anything other than just sort of accept it and move on. So yeah, so there's that. What else did I want to talk about to start off things? Oh, I saw Cam Newton jerseys are for sale in the pro shop at Patriot Place. Go and buy them, $75 probably. And this is a brilliant money-making scheme by the Patriots / the NFL / whoever is making jerseys for them now. There is zero guarantee this kid's going to be the quarterback. I mean, look, you would think they didn't sign the guy. They didn't bring him in thinking he couldn't play. As low risk as it is. But, I mean, a lot of people said the same thing when they brought in Tebow, even though everybody knew Tebow was not a good quarterback. And they also pumped out the Tim Tebow jerseys. You go to games, you still see one. At least. And that was however many years ago now. 6 years? 7 years? Fuck. So good on them for getting that out there, making that money. You know? If you're a faithful listener to the show, you know that I am a wannabe ad man. So any sort of marketing opportunity that's going to make money that I think is clever, I'm going to talk about it. All about it. Love it. So pump out every single piece of Cam Newton related merch that you can. I couldn't think of the word merchandise there. Wow. Pump it all out. Squeeze every last dime out of this stupid, idiotic, entitled fan base, myself included. So, yeah. What else did I want to... I wrote this down. Oh, the Rona. I'm tired of talking about the Rona. Mainly because it's a depressing topic. But, you know, the number of people that are sick with this thing is just keeps going up and up and up and up. Then I see the Ayatollah in Iran giving a speech with a mask on, urging his people to do the same. And I'm thinking to myself, the fucking Ayatollah, who apparently, you know, according to some, is supposed to be this horrible, evil person because he, you know, practices a different religion, is telling his people to wear a mask. Yet our guy wears a mask once and it's fucking national news. Anywho, the Washington racial slurs are changing their name, so that's good. Although my guess is they're going to change it to something stupid, like Red Wolves. That doesn't flow. I don't know. I don't particularly care for it. I've seen it in a couple places. Not a fan. I think you could do better, but they're going to end up changing it to something stupid. I saw Max Kellerman from ESPN talking about it, and the video was being recorded. He was at home, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" Like Max Kellerman without professional makeup artists looks like he's aged about 15 years during the quarantine here. Holy Christ, that poor bastard looked awful. He looked tired and stressed. Oof. Max Kellerman, who keeps getting jobs. Like Max Kellerman should just do boxing. Like he could single-handedly bring back boxing. But they have him talking about other shit, and 9 times out of 10, I don't particularly care or agree with what he has to say. And now ESPN's putting him on the radio for 2 hours. Brilliant move, ESPN. Another gem of a move. You take an hour away from Le Batard, which is the best program on the radio, to give time to fucking Max Kellerman. Ugh. Anyways, okay. I mentioned there was a visit to the broadcast palace Saturday night, early Sunday morning from Drunk Dave. And so I'm going to play. It's 6 minutes of, I mean, I think I say the word nonsense about 18 times an episode anyway. But I think Drunk Dave says it probably 18 minutes and 6 minutes. Ugh. 18 times in 6 minutes. There's a couple good lines in this. I thought it was funny. Free ad. It's an Instagram page that is run by a former coworker of mine, Rob's Lobs, ROBS_Lobs, LOBS. It is strictly a lobster roll review page. It's terrific. So free ad, Rob's Lobs, at Robs_Lobs, hashtag Lob Life. Here he is, Drunk Dave. I felt very inspired to come down and record a bit of a segment. So it's currently 2:19 a.m. on Sunday, July 12th. I am intoxicated. Had a few beverages, and so something struck me on the way home to come down and record, and I can't remember exactly what it was. Probably wasn't anything important as usual. But there were a handful of things that came up as potential topics and potential talking points, but nothing of any substance, if you will. Which seems to be the theme, like nothing of any substance. That'd be a great podcast name. Wish I had thought of that previously. Nothing of any substance, huh? I mean, kind of long, but not as long as complaints and observations. Personally, I don't think the name is that long, because I'm not. I shouldn't say I'm not. I am incredibly lazy, but yeah, nothing of any substance. Oh, I love that. That's good. But a bunch of just random crap, and I wish I could remember what it was that struck me that I needed to come down into the broadcast palace and record a segment. What was it that I needed to remember? But I don't know. It's way too late to be doing this. But I'm awake, which is weird, because typically I'd be waking up at this point. You know, I'd be waking up, rolling over, looking at my phone, being like, "Oh fuck, it's only 2:15 or 2:30. Fuck, Jesus." And then I would sit there for another 20 minutes before I grab my phone and start scrolling through Twitter and getting depressed. The state of the world. Oh, yeah, so glad I came down to do this, huh? Slurring my words like a fucking douchebag. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Bunch of stuff tonight, you know. I need to start a Twitter page just for band names. Problem is there's no new bands anymore. Who plays music? Who plays actual music anymore, you know? This is my old man take of the night. Get off my lawn. Play guitar. Learn the drums. It's funny when I do this now, when I'm drunk, but you know, when I go back and listen to this, I'm like, holy fuck, that's not good. It's terrible. Shells and a lobster roll. My friend Shannon tonight had shells in her lobster roll. You should be fucking closed down if you leave shells in your lobster roll. Especially in New England. Like, what the fuck are you doing? That's blasphemy. Seriously. You leave shells in a lobster roll, you should be fucking drawn and quartered publicly. That's not good. Not good at all. And it ruins somebody's dinner too. That's the problem. When you leave shells in somebody's lobster roll, it's you ruin somebody's night. Yeah, it's fucking crazy, huh? Yeah, I really wish I could remember what it was that brought me down here. And I say down here because I'm in the basement. The broadcast palace is in the basement. Wow. Yeah, this is going to be a terrible segment. But that's okay, you know, we need content. We need content to fucking fill time. I wish that was my only concern in life was content. It's just made up nonsense to spew over a recorded medium. Huh? Yeah. Content. Who gives a fuck? Really? God. Drunk Dave was okay. I mean, it was fine. I think he made some good points there. I think we might have to have him back on the show at some point. We'll see if he's around. I don't think he'll be around this week, but one can never tell. You know, he starts dipping into the sauce, things happen. But I thought it was good. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Commercial time. Check it out. We'll be back in a second. So one of the things that also popped up over the weekend was this hoax about Wayfair trafficking children in overpriced cabinets. And quite frankly, when I read shit like that, it's depressing first and foremost because it just there are people walking amongst us who believe this sort of crap, and so it's sad because you see how delusional some people really are, and they're just looking for anything. They need something to fill the tiny crevasses in their life that are empty, and so they do that by perpetuating and believing nonsense that has very little to do with them, number one, and number two, makes them feel as if they're in the know, that they happen to know more than others. So, there's a mental illness aspect to it, I believe. But this thing is just, and part of it is full disclosure. I used to work for the company. They were my last position. They're the ones who let me go. But I harbor no ill to Wayfair, the company as a whole. They're a massive corporation. They have their faults, all do. And this is not to say that they are not guilty of anything, because I'm certain they are. And they've been in, I don't want to call it trouble, but they've been in the news previously for selling some shit to a detention center. Not a detention, what amounted to a not a concentration camp. That's not the right word. A camp for immigrant children, and those being held by the government for daring to cross the border. So Wayfair has they're not the brightest bunch, company wise, but I think they do a good job about being okay with social issues, cultural issues, and I'm sure there are others that feel differently. In fact, I'm certain there are others that feel differently. But yeah. So, but this thing is just beyond stupid, and part of it is because I know why it's the way it is and why these things are listed on the site the way that they are. But the crux of it is, for those who aren't aware, is there was a Reddit user who posted something about expensive storage cabinets. Basically, the post just said, "Is it possible Wayfair involved in human trafficking with their WFX utility collection? Or are these just extremely overpriced cabinets?" Now, they are extremely overpriced. They're commercially rated pieces. They are extremely overpriced because the company said that's an accurate price. Now, there's no context in this screenshot. Zero. But as the internet is wont to do, they see it and they run with it. And now you had all kinds of people going to Wayfair, who, my assumption is, their traffic must have been up over the weekend, which, I'm sure they enjoyed that part of it. But, you got people digging around, pulling out screenshots of $10,000 pillows. Well, there's a completely logical explanation behind the $10,000 pillows. Wayfair is a dropship company. Their suppliers manage all that stuff. In theory, Wayfair is supposed to keep an eye on that. There's 12 million items on the site, so they don't have enough people, I would think, to check all these things, but who knows? So, the suppliers are monkeying around with the price points so that they don't have to take something down and relist it later on when the product comes back in stock. Completely, totally logical explanation, yet no one has shared that point. And so now you have a bunch of people who think it's fucking hilarious, and they just keep fucking talking about it, which just keeps giving this thing legs. And look, personally, I don't give two fucks about, how this reflects on Wayfair, because they're a multinational company. They're a global, organization. They'll be fine. But it's so fucking annoying. And it's annoying because It just shows you how stupid and gullible some people can be. They name shit after people who work for the company, used to work for the company, work for suppliers. So the names of all this shit, completely random. There's a whole bunch of shit with my name on it. There's a doormat that has a chihuahua printed on it, and it's a La Pointe doormat. There are a lot of La Pointe products because there have been a few La Pointes that have worked for the company. Completely logical explanation for the names of the products. Just so happens that, I just can't. It's troubling, and honestly, it's sad, is what it is, because you have people who spend their time just, looking for this stuff and making shit up. Yet, I'm looking at a poll on Newsweek. Do you think the Wayfair conspiracy theory is real or a hoax? 3,400 responses. 49% think it's real. 49%. As if, this country wasn't going to hell in a handbasket already. This just sort of plays into it a little bit more. And I hate, why don't we, this is not what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about this crap. And I've just wasted fucking 7 minutes of your time talking about this bullshit. Look, it's not real. It's a coincidence, if anything. And you really shouldn't spend any time on the internet ever, other than to listen to my show. All right, so as it is Monday, it is time for Three Gripes. This week, good stuff. Got a couple of voicemails that we'll get to that we'll, include. I did get a couple of emails. Listener Brian, thank you, Brian, sent in an email last week. One of his points I thought was very good. One of his observations. Filters on pictures. Why do folks think they need to apply them to photos or Instagram stories like they're 15 years old? These are people in their 30s and 40s or older. I just don't get it. That tells me a couple of different things. One, Brian does not know or associate anyone in their 20s, which is fine. I happen to have a lot of friends just from my previous work experience who are in their 20s, and so I get it. However, I do not get the filter thing either. To me, that's you're hiding something. Is there, you don't particularly care for the way that you look, perhaps? There's a blemish that you need to cover. There's an insecurity that comes with it, and I think that's part of the issue. Because what's the point? Unless let's say you're making a video with your kid, and you're holding your kid, and you put the stupid teddy bear filter thing on your face. It's like, ha ha ha, oh, that's funny, look at that, I look like a bear. That I can get. I can understand that. But any other kind of filter, you're not a professional photographer, so your beach photo does not need to be in black and white or have some sort of weird hue or tint. Picture of the beach. Show me the beach. I don't need to see all this other fucking crap. There's a lot of layers there. It's just like the filters. A lot of layers. Whoop. Sorry about that. I hate when that happens. But yeah, so he's not wrong. It's just that's for that generation under the age of 30, I would think that that's sort of a normal, occurrence. Filters, you want to make yourself look different or better or whatever. Yeah, put a filter on it. So he doesn't get it, but I don't think it's for you, Brian. It's not for you. It's for the kids, man. I want to go back to Folly Beach. What I want to do.
Hey, Dave. I got a gripe for you. It's about Facebook or any social media. But usually I get pissed off with people posting things about food, their children. But I've done that. It's okay. But what I really hate is dudes taking pictures of sunsets and oceans and beaches, and they get their hairy toes in the picture. The fuck? Really? Shave your toes. Don't take the picture. I don't know, but I got a real problem with that. And I've defriended everybody who's ever done that on my interwebs, so you should do the same.
Have you ever seen one of those pictures and thought, wow, that's a hairy toe? Holy smokes. Like I was sitting right there when he recorded that and I didn't remember. That's my friend Matt, who apparently has a problem with hairy toes. It doesn't surprise me that he has an issue with hairy toes. He's petty like that. Yeah, doesn't like beach photos that include hairy toes. All right. I can get down with that, but I think it would be odd if he had somebody shaving their toes. Do I even have hair on my toes? Yeah, very little. If you have so much hair on your toes that, it's going to offend somebody, I think you have a bigger problem. Yeah, it doesn't like hairy toes. I mean, that's what the forum is for. That's why I tell people to leave voicemails. That's the kind of content that I want. You can't really expand on that, though. It doesn't really... The topic of hairy toes doesn't lend itself to an extended discussion. I wonder if it's like a side effect to something. If you have hairy toes. Whoa, hold on. Hold the phone. Oh, if they start losing hair. Okay. If the hair on your toes starts to vanish, you could have diabetes. Thank you, internet. But wow, how about that? Jeez. This is the problem. You can't look up this shit on the internet. Like, this is a gripe. Turning to the internet for medical advice. Quite possibly the worst fucking thing you can do is, if you have an issue, going to Google and typing in your symptom, and you see 20,000 results for that particular symptom, and then you read 10,000 of them. I am fucking guilty of this. Horribly guilty. And I would imagine that some of it's accurate. In this case of the hairy toes, if you start losing the hair on your toes, it could be a sign of poor blood circulation or diabetes. Now, My assumption is that does not mean you have diabetes. It could just mean that you're fat, because that's probably why you would have poor blood circulation, or one type of the betas. But using the internet as a doctor is not a good idea. But hey, there's no regulation to what's on the internet. It's not a regulated entity. So anybody can put anything they want, including this god-awful show. But yeah, don't look up. In fact, don't look up hairy toes. Don't Google hairy toes. Oh God. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, that's not cool at all. Oh, geez. Huh. Yeah, that's not good. The images for hairy toes pops up, and there's some gnarly looking toes. But there's only like 2 of them or 3 of them that have hair on them. So I don't get that. All right, we're closing out that box. Yeah, hairy toes. Matt does not like hairy toes, so that's a gripe. Thank you, Matt. Hopefully we get more of those gems. Matt's good for stuff like that, and that goes back to Drunk Dave's band name Twitter. Might have to start that, because I've got a laundry list of band names, and you can get band names from anything. I wanted to start one like Donald Trump band names and just take words and phrases that he uttered. Some of the nonsensical bullshit that comes out of his mouth would make a pretty good band name. It's good stuff. I had another gripe. People that will tell you a story and then start naming people whom you do not know. Now, my grandmother, God rest her soul, was a sweet woman, and she did this a lot. She'd start telling me a story, name a person, and I have no idea who this person is. But she's telling the story as if I do know the name, who she's talking about. And then comes the uncomfortable, when they're done with the story, oh, who's so-and-so? And then sometimes that person will look at you like you have 3 heads. Oh, you don't fucking know who Rachel is? How do you not know that? What? No, I don't know who you're talking about. An easy fix. Before you start telling the story, say, hey, a friend of mine named Rachel, blah, 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 blah. Onward. That solves the problem. You cannot assume that the person you are speaking to is going to know who the fuck you are talking about. And if you do this, if you're listening to my voice right now and you do this, you need to fix it right away. Because you are doing a disservice to your audience. You're doing a disservice to the person you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, that fucking rubs me so fucking raw. It drives me nuts. I mean, when I was a kid and my grandmother would do it, I accepted it. Well, because she was my grandmother and I loved her. So I wasn't going to get angry with her about it. All these other fucking people that do it, fuck them. Enough is enough. Take a stand with this shit. This is the first real stand I'm taking on a gripe on this program. That might have been my 10th segment of Three Gripes, and I think this is the one I think I'm going to take a stand on. So moving forward, if you tell me a story about somebody I don't know, I'm going to look you in the eye, tell you that you're a fucking idiot, and then ask you to explain to me in better detail who you are referring to and how it affects me. I'm going to be very selfish in this regard. All right. Deep breath, David, deep breath. Whew. That's it for the show. I will be back on Thursday. Should know more about the calendar in terms of moving. So I think that's going to be a good time to take a break from the pod for a week. Take a week off and reassess, figure out what the fuck I'm doing. Hopefully have more room, more space to invite guests. Hopefully, like again, once the fucking the pandemic has slowed down, but I don't want to have people in my fucking house with a mask on. But maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. But as Matt and as Brian did this week, please. Oh, and I also got an email from Tim. Tim, thank you very much. He's the one that asked me to talk about Wayfair. I recorded that as a separate segment in case they, get uppity about it, which they could. I'm not speaking ill of them at all. Just sort of, you never know, But thank you, Tim. I appreciate it. I hope you're listening. Hope you just didn't, think, oh shit, this would be something that Dave could talk about. I mean, I can. It's not going to be very good or coherent, but I can, and I did. But yeah. Please get involved. Content. Need it. Let's go. And as I mentioned before, it would be really nice to use the platform to learn and to teach a little bit. And if you know something that you don't think others do, or that that I don't, reach out, get in touch. Let's talk about it. I mean, look, the shows are only 40 minutes. They can be an hour. We can drag it out if we want. And, I'd like to get some guests. And I say this every fucking week. It'd be great to have a better back and forth. And hopefully once we get into the new broadcast palace, we'll be able to expand the empire a little bit. Get a little bit more room, some additional equipment, and go from there. The usual show mail at complaintsandobservations.com, the website complaintsandobservations.com, the Twitter page at complaintspod, Instagram complaints and observations pod, YouTube, the 10 dog challenge. Please check that out. I thought it was funny, so it'd be great if you could check it out. Thank you. But that's it. So thanks for listening. Tell your friends, please. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta-ta.